Hi, welcome to the Speechifier YouTube channel. In this video, we know 5 facts. Before starting the video, small note: don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for more interesting video notifications. First fact. It's no secret that the late comedian Robin Williams had a good heart. But fewer people know the stories that gave him that reputation, stories like Lisa Jacobs. In 1993, she was a young actress playing Williams' daughter in the comedy Mrs. Doubtfire. As most of us know, child actors often get tutored on set since they miss a lot of school days. But Jacob was still enrolled in her Toronto area school at the time. That is until she hit the absence threshold. I was upset and Robin asked me about it, Jacob told Today.com months after Williams' untimely death in 2014. The next day he showed up at my trailer with a letter he'd written to the principal asking him to reconsider and let me come back to high school. In an industry where people are only in it for themselves, Robin was not like that. Robin had my back, and that will always be precious to me. The letter read, in part, I have spent the past 3 months working on Mrs. Doubtfire with Lisa Jacob. I found Lisa to be a bright, inquisitive and eager to learn young lady. She is charming and a delight. I respectfully request that you reconsider your policy and allow Lisa the opportunity to work and attend school. She is an asset to any classroom. Unfortunately, the letter impressed the school but did not change their decision. In fact, they framed the letter and hung it on the wall in their main office but did not allow Jacob back in. The letter went viral on Reddit in 2015 and Jacob herself updated fans. Her message read, Hi, there, just wanted to say thanks for sharing this, and maybe answer a few questions I'm seeing. I was being tutored on set for the required 3 hours a day and mailing back work to my school. However, my absence required that my teachers put together special work for me and my school wasn't willing to do that. I had told them in advance that I would be away. I had been an actor since I was 4, so this wasn't really news, but during the long shoot, it became too much of an issue for them. I don't really blame them, it was very unusual, especially in the Canadian suburbs, in the early 90s. As for the legality of it all, I really don't know. I was embarrassed and didn't want to be somewhere I wasn't wanted, so we didn't fight it. I ended up attending a private school after that, for a short time. They also struggled with accommodating my strange work schedule. I was told that wasn't a good fit either. So, I never graduated from high school. When I was in my 20s, after I left LA and retired from acting, I got my GED. When I was 31, I graduated from the University of Virginia. I still live in VA, and I'm a writer now. I tell this whole story in my book if you're interested. You look like that girl, so it all turned out okay in the end. But of course, the point of all of this is really that Robin was a spectacular individual who took the time to fight for a kid going through a personal problem. And I'm just glad that people are hearing that story, because that's who he truly was. That's how I like to remember him. Second fact. Much like the Golden Gate Bridge, the Gap has become a popular place for those with suicidal intentions to meet their end. While it's a relatively secluded cliff, there is one important home nearby, the one that belonged to Don Ritchie before his death in 2012. Over the 50 years Ritchie lived in his home, the Australian World War II Navy veteran struck up hundreds of conversations with nearly inconsolable people by asking, is there something I could do to help you? Some say he likely saved around 500 lives simply for being there for people, though the official number is 160. Interestingly, Ritchie was a life insurance salesman, and his choice of where to live was intentional. He died in 2012 of natural causes, but was recognized during his lifetime with a Medal of the Order of Australia. The so-called Angel of the Gap hoped that some kind soul would move into his house and take his place someday. Third fact. The urban legend of the Green Man, also known as Charlie No Face, was partly made up to scare kids. But many people who tell the tale of a man without a face walking the highways at night have no idea that the story is based on a real man. Raymond Robinson wasn't green, but he was missing most of his face. On June 18, 1919, the 9-year-old was playing with friends behind his parents' home when the boys decided to climb the poles of some nearby railroad tracks. And you can probably imagine all of the horrible ways that could have ended. Robinson had no idea the equipment was electrified. Alas, when he hit an electrical line, he was gravely injured. The boy survived, but not only was his face massively disfigured, he lost his nose and eyes, he also lost an arm. He didn't want to let the accident ruin his life, so he tried to live as normally as possible and enjoyed taking walks near his home in western Pennsylvania along State Route 351. Some locals tried to get a peek at him, and people knew of his disfigurement, hence the stories. Robinson took up weaving and continued to spend time with his family, even going out in the daytime, sometimes with and sometimes without big glasses. His nephew said, he never discussed his injuries or his problems at all. It was just a reality, and there was nothing he could do about it, so he never spoke about it. He never complained about anything. Some locals accepted him, but others would pick him up and drop him in random locales, beat him, and even hit him with their cars. But he never let that stop him from taking his beloved walks. Fourth fact. A 39-year-old former Italian police officer Mauro Prosperi decided to run in the 1994 Marathon des Sables. The 6-day race requires a 155-mile run through the Sahara Desert, but the former Olympic pentathlete felt up to the challenge. However, a sandstorm hit the runners, and Prosperi got lost in the desert for 10 days. He survived by eating small animals such as lizards, drinking bat blood and his own urine, and covering himself in the sand at night to stay warm. Fearing he would be declared missing and his wife wouldn't be able to claim his life insurance for 10 years unless his body was found, he tried to cut his wrists. However, he was so dehydrated that his blood clotted immediately and he lived. Telling his story to BBC News in 2014, he said, "My wife, Cynthia, thought I was insane. The race is so risky that you have to sign a form to say where you want your body to be sent in case you die. We had 3 children under the age of 8, so she was worried. I tried to reassure her. The worst that can happen is that I get a bit sunburned. The race has changed since the debacle. These days the Marathon des Sables is a very different experience, with up to 1,300 participants. It's like a giant snake, you couldn't get lost if you tried. But back in 1994, there were only 80 of us, and very few who were actually running, so most of the time I was on my own," Prosperi said. Fifth fact. A Ukrainian couple tried to save their relationship by handcuffing themselves together on Valentine's Day in 2021. The arrangement lasted 123 days before they called it quits for good. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for new videos notification.